Discuss the estate, my mother announced at Sunday brunch, her voice carrying that familiar tone of finality. Your sister Rebecca needs additional security. I stirred my coffee slowly, already knowing where this conversation was heading. My phone silently displayed the morning's market report. My company's stock up another 12%. Of course, my father added, adjusting his reading glasses, Rebecca's position at the bank is prestigious, but with her lifestyle expenses. I nodded, thinking of my sister's mansion, her 3 luxury cars, and her carefully cultivated image as a successful investment banker. If they only knew her salary was a fraction of what I made in daily trading. The family estate needs to remain whole, my mother continued delicately. And since you've chosen this alternative career path. My phone buzzed discreetly, merger completed. Chin Technologies now valued at $7.9 billion. Stock surging. I understand, I said quietly, watching another notification flash. Forbes interview confirmed, America's most secretive billionaire. Rebecca swept in, fashionably late as usual, designer handbag prominently displayed. Sorry I'm late. Major deal at the bank. Millions at stake. I suppressed a smile, thinking of the billions I'd moved this morning before breakfast. Perfect timing, Mother beamed. We were just discussing the estate planning. Sarah, my father said gently, you understand why Rebecca needs to inherit everything, don't you? With your immodest situation. My assistant's footsteps approached the dining room. I checked the time right on schedule. Modest is generous, Rebecca smirked. How's that little startup of yours doing? Still working from your apartment. Another message flashed. Emergency board meeting called. Chin Technologies market cap approaching $8 billion. Actually, I began, but Mother cut me off. We've decided, she declared. Rebecca gets the estate. The house, the investments, everything. You understand, dear? She has appearances to maintain. My assistant appeared in the doorway, tablet in hand, face flushed with excitement. Miss Chin, she burst out. Sorry to interrupt, but dash. Not now, my mother waved dismissively at my assistant. We're discussing family matters. But ma'am, my assistant persisted, the markets dash. As I was saying, Mother continued, Rebecca's position in society demands certain standards. My phone lit up. Breaking. Chin Technologies becomes fastest company to reach $8 billion valuation. Did you hear about my new summer house? Rebecca interjected. The partners were so impressed. Of course, Sarah, with your situation, you probably can't relate. My assistant was practically bouncing now. Miss Chin, please, it's urgent dash. Whatever startup crisis you're having can wait, Rebecca said dismissively. We're discussing my inheritance. Dad pulled out the estate papers. Now, Sarah, we've arranged everything. Rebecca gets the estate, valued at roughly $12 million. I almost laughed. My company made that much in the last hour. Your sister needs to maintain her social standing, Mother explained. The country club memberships, the charity galas. My phone buzzed again. Wall Street Journal requests immediate comment on breaking story. Tech's hidden giant. Chin Technologies surpasses $8.2 billion. I've earned this, Rebecca declared. My corner office at the bank, my executive status. Miss Chin. My assistant finally burst out. Your net worth just hit $8.2 billion. The markets are going crazy. The room froze. Dad's glasses slid off his nose. Mother's teacup clattered against its saucer. Rebecca's designer bag slipped from her shoulder. What did you say? Mother whispered. My assistant held up her tablet, displaying the breaking news headlines. Mystery tech CEO Sarah Chen's net worth soars past $8 billion. That's impossible, Rebecca stammered. Sarah works from her apartment. Her apartment, my assistant smiled, which occupies the entire top floor of the building she owns, along with half the commercial real estate downtown. Dad's hands shook as he stared at the estate papers, the $12 million inheritance that now seemed laughably small. Would you like me to show them the portfolio, Miss Chin? My assistant asked. The estate papers trembled in Dad's hands as my assistant pulled up the holographic display from her tablet. Financial data filled the air above our brunch table, stock tickers and market valuations dancing over the untouched eggs Benedict. Chin Technologies, my assistant began professionally. Current market capitalization, $8.2 billion and climbing. Primary operations in quantum computing, AI development and blockchain technology. Founder and CEO, Sarah Chin. But you work from home, Rebecca whispered, her designer bag forgotten on the floor. From the penthouse of the Chin Technology Tower, my assistant corrected. Which incidentally your bank rents from us, along with 30 other corporate tenants. Mother's face had gone pale. The Chin Technology Tower? That new building downtown. One of 17 properties in our real estate portfolio, I said quietly. Though that's just a side investment. The holographic display shifted to show my company's global operations. Red dots appeared across 6 continents, each representing a Chin Technologies facility. This morning's merger, my assistant continued, brought our total employee count to 15,000. The stock has tripled since our quiet IPO last year. Dad finally found his voice. Quiet IPO? Sarah preferred to maintain a low profile, my assistant explained. Until today's market movement made that impossible. Rebecca's hands shook as she pulled up her banking app. Our analysts, they've been tracking Chin Technologies. They say it's the most innovative tech company since Apple. Your bank's investment division has been trying to get a meeting with our CEO for months, I smiled. I keep declining. Mother stared at the estate papers, the $12 million figure suddenly looking absurd. All this time when we thought you were struggling. I was building something, I finished. Something bigger than inherited wealth. My phone buzzed again. The assistant checked her tablet and announced. The acquisition was just approved. Chin Technologies now owns controlling interest in First National Bank. Rebecca's face went white. First National? My bank? Your new employer, I corrected gently. Though don't worry, we're keeping all existing staff. Even those with unnecessarily large expense accounts. The holographic display updated, showing my personal net worth ticker climbing past $8.3 billion. The estate, Dad mumbled, still staring at the papers. Keep it, I said softly. Rebecca needs it more than I do. My apartment's property taxes alone are worth more than the entire inheritance. Your apartment, Mother repeated weakly. My assistant pulled up the penthouse details. 12,000 square feet of cutting-edge smart home technology, private helipad, and a view of the city I now partially owned. Would you like me to show them the car collection? My assistant offered. That won't be necessary, I said, watching Rebecca's face as she realized her 3 luxury cars were worth less than my backup vehicle. I think they're starting to understand. The room fell silent except for the gentle hum of the holographic display, still showing my empire's ever-growing metrics. The carefully arranged inheritance papers lay forgotten among the brunch dishes. Their importance evaporated like morning mist. 1 month after the brunch revelation, my family gathered again, this time in my penthouse's dining room, 90 stories above the city they now saw differently. The wall-to-wall windows offered a view of the Chin Technology Tower's gleaming logo, a sight that still made my mother flinch slightly. The estate paperwork is all finalized, Dad said quietly, watching Bloomberg TV cover my company's latest innovation. Though it seems rather insignificant now. Rebecca sat silently, her designer bag absent for the first time in years. As the newly appointed head of innovation at First National Bank, a position she'd actually earned after I acquired the company, she'd developed a different perspective on wealth and status. Ms. Chin, my assistant entered smoothly, the Prime Minister of Singapore is on line 1 about the quantum computing initiative. Mother nearly dropped her fork. After years of worrying about my modest situation, she now watched world leaders court her younger daughter. Did you see the Forbes cover? She asked, trying to sound casual as she gestured to the magazine where I graced the cover. The Silent Empire, How Sarah Chin Built a Tech Dynasty in Secret. The Times profile was better, Rebecca offered, scrolling through her tablet. Though they barely scratched the surface of the AI division's potential. My phone displayed another notification. Stock hits new high. Personal net worth, $9.1 billion. I still can't believe, Mother began, then paused. All those years we thought you needed help. While I was helping others, I completed, showing her Chin Technologies Global Education Initiative. Our scholarship program just hit 10,000 students. Dad studied the holographic display of company metrics floating above the dining table. The estate we were so concerned about wouldn't cover my property taxes, I confirmed. Though it was never about the money. Rebecca looked up from her tablet. The Tokyo expansion is trending worldwide. Along with our quantum breakthrough, I nodded. The patents alone are worth more than First National's total assets. My assistant appeared again. Ma'am, the White House is confirming your tech advisory appointment. And NASA needs to move up the Mars project timeline. Mother's hands trembled slightly as she reached for her wine. Mars project. Chin Technologies is developing the AI systems for the first colonial mission, I explained. Just a small side project. Small, Rebecca laughed, shaking her head. Like how you called your company a startup? The TV shifted to breaking news. Chin Technologies revolutionizes quantum computing. Stock surges past $500 per share. Remember when you were worried about my future? I asked Mother gently. She nodded, watching the stock ticker climb. We were so focused on preserving what we had. While I was building what could be, I finished. The estate was always too small a dream. Dad cleared his throat. Your sister's summer house is lovely, I said, pulling up the property records. Though I prefer my private island in the Pacific. The quantum research facility there is doing groundbreaking work. Rebecca's phone buzzed, probably another company announcement. As head of innovation, she now understood the true meaning of success wasn't in designer bags or country club memberships. The inheritance, Mother started, was never the point, I said, watching my net worth tick up another 100 million. Some people inherit wealth. Others create it. The evening news droned on about Chin Technologies' latest breakthrough. My assistant fielded calls from world leaders, and my family sat in silent amazement in a penthouse worth more than their entire estate. Miss Chin, my assistant interrupted again, Elon Musk is requesting a meeting about the Mars collaboration. Mother's wine glass froze halfway to her lips. Elon. Tell him Thursday works, I said. After my UN presentation but before the quantum computing announcement. Rebecca shook her head in wonder. All this time while we were planning your inheritance. I was planning humanity's future, I completed, watching a satellite view of my global empire on the holographic display. The estate was just too small a canvas. Dad stared out at the city skyline, now dominated by my company's buildings. We thought we were securing your future. While I was building everyone's future, I said, pulling up the schematics for our next breakthrough. Some inheritances are measured in dollars. My phone buzzed one final time. Time Magazine Person of the Year confirmation requested. Others, I smiled, watching my family's reflection in the window, are measured in impact. Sometimes the smallest inheritance can lead to the biggest legacy, especially when they don't see